The dissension in our community is prevalent.
The problem with our community is a lack of trust. Now, you would expect for the crux, the meat, the fleshiest part of the carcass to contain the nutrients necessary to hold each particle together. But we disintegrate the moment we feel malnourished, the moment we feel no stimulation. They say it takes a nation, but even in our vicinity, our neighbors are under the restrictions of foreign policy. Community is a representation of us, rich with melanin. We are few, and thus, you would think that such a small percentage would preserve itself. Yet we are divided like fractions. The common denominator is that on a predominantly white campus, surrounded by privilege and numbers, we remain a statistic by acting like petulant children, who mumble their disses, who talk but don't listen, whose actions contribute to our current condition. We need a solution to convert our fractured factions from fractions to whole numbers, increase to add commas, to make change, it makes sense, and to inoculate our petty, pesky pestilence.
Involved with the systematic politics and processes of how we govern ourselves come few and far between. Our being, the beauty in our skin, the soul with which we operate, and our unmatched intellectual capacity has been so savagely disintegrated over centuries. The symmetry between white infamy and our lacking psychological chemistry between each other is not a mystery. They put in effortless energy ensuring we see blacks as enemies. Consider popular music and pretty much anything on the television screen. No recognition for intelligence. Truthfully, it's sickening. Only if you're an athlete, rapper, or like Mike Jackson dancing to Billie Jean. Commonality is it's all entertainment. No books, no thinking. Black people, they're saying this is how you're gonna make it. Continue to pursue the money, all the while being brainless, because they don't care about your thoughts anyways when you're famous. Get your mama out the hood so she can suffer the pain less. Alleviate the stress of being late on rent payments. So of course the athletes are gonna go for the glory because, that's all that makes sense. We support them through our idolization of their immaculate talents, but are silent to the students who are so-called average. They attend all their classes, make sure they're passing, go to their teacher's office hours and ask them how to add, subtract, and do fractions. There's an evident disconnect separating the two factions, students and athletes, particularly those of melanin descent, sadly.
Sadly, there's no cohesiveness. Twitter fingers aggressive button tapping got me pissed. No blocking, we need them alley-oops. We want assists. Yet we flocking and inciting riots because the pious and righteous talking that gossip shit. No Gotham, but you jokers playing Bruce when you just Robin, bit. You an adult handling conflict like an inexperienced novice. Holding grudges and pettiness is exactly what the problem is. I don't want to hear not one more word that ain't inspiring. I don't want to hear not one more word of getting violent. You social media tyrants inflated can't pay the prices of tough talking through digital spaces and abused devices. Social media and party culture is one hell of a mix. You put a filter on the bottle, heart eyes on the pig. Pose with your nemesis, plots all in the midst. You projecting your insecurities. What else did I miss? You know those dudes chilling on the wall trying to get active, or the ones yelling turn up, always down for some action, whose tactics is getting brackets with pistols popping the fashion, chip clips and revolvers mad to no safety because they pack. Those laying down on the mattress recording off for the masses, those laying down on the mattress recording off for the masses, low self-esteem, already choosing their caskets. If it would get them some attention, too aggressive or always passive. It's mental illness ignored, our direction is extremely fascist. We neglect the needs for doctors, psychologists, please, we plead for mental practice. To aid our post-traumatic, stress is truly tragic. We drown ourselves in a Hennessy. Bushes, weeds, tweeds, salad, grassroots is what's causing this dopamine. Extractions, depletion, addiction, transforming us to fiends. Becoming a coping mechanism from the hurt, the spleen. Internal organs rotten from the tolerance of hopeless dreams. Now, we don't gotta be all kumbaya, but if you sabotage your brother like they Mufasa, or if you fairy twinkle sprinkle like poof ta-da, to set each other up for failure, then ooh, voila, you an officiated coon that's doomed for all eternity. You violated the cadence of fellowship and fraternity. Uncle Timothy Thomas, I vomit. It's a concern to see. House nigga motives and tendencies, new slave with no urgency. Too soon you perpetuate the voodoo like YouTube, recorded for centuries, sprouting the Fruit Loom, because they was hanging us from trees. You subconsciously putting your people at risk. That shit is dangerous. Be keen of the unseen, these fiends concocting schemes.
Concocting schemes so persistent, yes. The precedent has been set in stone systematically, causing our psychological disposition of distance towards our brothers and sisters to be our present reality.
Ooh.
Failure of our people to merely acknowledge each other's presence is how deep this shit gets. But recognize that the separation lies not only betwixt the ballers and the ones trying to get their credits, but our community holistically, in a general sense. Individual journeys are modified by simple interactions not so seemingly impactful, like hellos and highs. Not cognizant of the effects by which our togetherness bodes an effervescent sense of Black excellence. Instead, we've become pessimists, and it's evident through the lack of communication, love, and fellowship within our Black sediment as we bypass our people with melanin in the cub fostering excuses like, sorry, it's Wednesday and I gotta be in class by 11:10. But it's 11:07 and I can't spare a second to say what's up to my brethren. Absurdly preposterous is the thought of being an agent of ostracizing your people for the purpose of satisfying white societal standards of being equal. And it seems as though my people are lost and hopeless, focused on what these white people told us, and they sold us a pointless education for a piece of paper stating we can continue participating in this U.S. economy we are slaves in. And it's a shame, man. They're shaving our dignity straight from us, to the point where our pride in one another suffers. Father's role played by the mother, and you wonder why animosity rises, because she was telling her son how his dad's a sucker. Reason being why we don't see each other as brothers and sisters and cousins. Reason being you see a divide arise. Reason being why saying hi, the fosterization of a conversation between those melanated is such an uncommon statement. Reason being why our faceless image of Black intelligence ushers in a common sense understanding of non-unification and non-togetherness. Reason being for the damage to our pillars of excellence. Reason being for our lack of fellowship. Reason being that our being is being compromised today and ever since. We've been here, we've been told that our lives do not matter. And for their lives lost, we just reminisce.
The dissension is evident. Like landlords missing pay stubs, no rent from the residents. It shows when the boatload of harbored Indo smoking wind blows of the breeze of fiends getting to the parties. When our workshops deserted, vacant lot, but you see all these people barbied, on quests and missions, hitting all dips and switches for the function, don't want to collab and protest, but pop that ass in conjunction. And all these out-of-towners clenching their car keys. The seats is bleak when niggas sleep, Tempur-Pedic catching Z's, lack of support like a disease, make people think and then they flee, because it's easier to turn your back and throw it back to some YG. We provide platforms for enrichment, but instead, niggas hitting that vicious Millie Rock, splitting through crowds to get attention. Inventing excuses to hide from the movement, split wigs, shreds of extensions, and not to mention the common question of where the addy at. Man, we just stating facts. Rich vegetation at parties, y'all some Cabbage Patch. But when we talk race issues, Mace Windu catching the battle axe, we need incentives, greed, tickle whiskers with cheese for these vile rats. We preach too much about ratchet shit. Who's smashing, juggling vices, who about to grapple in. We don't explore enough topics that are enlightening. It's so striking when you walk across the fourth and cross the threshold of the AA. It's bizarre when there's cats snooping around like it's Dre Day. Folks is always doped up on each other's potion. Aroma float in motion, hocus pocus, nasal palates flutter commotion. Okay? Stay out their business and in your own. We hypocritics. How we gonna see our people evolve when we're part of the hindrance? All of this so cryptic, we share a conflict of interest. We praise everything Black, but can't support a Black business. We hide behind the mask, but you tried it, you ain't ecliptic. Our mindsets need some shifting, we sleep. How narcoleptic.
How narcoleptic and feeble-minded, mindless violence, mind, like it's Nemo we're finding. conditioned to be silent, trying to cross the crossroads that don't encompass chemical warfare, police dogs, and false Bibles. Consistent with the conditions we live in are the values valued within our men and our women. And to be specific, at WSU it's no different. Hit the function, smoke kush, and of course it's Hennessy that we're sipping. And I'm not saying you're villains, because I too am a victim of indulgent and coping mechanisms. The problem is we're subconsciously replicating every fucked up thing that's wrong with this system. We are righteous children. No need to succumb to the circumference placed upon your right to be divine. Shine, gleam so bright your melanin makes those in heaven go blind. Take control. You have a choice. You have a voice, so get to utilizing. Ain't no compromising. They're hanging us from trees in 2016. This post-racial narrative ain't nothing but a fairy tale. How many more lives need to be lost before we stand up? We dying every day, but worried about an Instagram stunt. At some point, we've got to say no more. We are not having it. They are not going to live lavished and relaxed off the black backs, rack stack, pack gats, toe tagging tactics intact. This tragic target practice havoc on black magic. Bastards blasting and robbing us for everything that we have. And these addicts fathom savage acts and passing. Pastors, preachers, praying and asking. It's done, it's passion, and the masses have had it. Up to here with you cowards, hiding behind your suits, ties, and governmental policies to maintain the imbalance. Think about it historically. No one has ever significantly changed the law by following the law. Hence the terms revolution and rebellion. Our people are crying out for help. You and I can tell that America is hell, man. No institution here is standing for our evolution. Foolish is for you to think otherwise and keep it moving. We need to collaborate, not just when we're drinking, two-stepping, and grooving. Our people need to get the educational tools and say tools to America. Thanks for 500 years of BS, but it's Africa we need to get back to ruling.
The dissension in our community is prevalent. We operate on hatred forsaken, trained in this regiment. When will we break free from this mental slavery? It's indefinite.
The pressure is on. Press forward, please. We are heaven sent. Expedite any institution claiming that you are lesser than.
White institutions show illusions, and their method is stifling black love. Wake up, no time for negligence.
The time is now. No better time than there's ever been. Prosperous people we are. Understand the messages. Let's put effort in, unity, and togetherness.
Let's put effort in, unity, and togetherness.
Let's put effort in, unity, and togetherness.